Brendan, can you tell me about what today is about, first of all, quickly?
Well, Marcus, we've got 180 delegates, 60 from the communities, 60 from the political parties and independents, and 60 from the trade unions. Today is about learning. Okay. Today is about listening to what's going on with social movements on water and on people's rising movements in Spain and Greece and Germany. And today is about the Right2Water unions launching for discussion and consultation policy principles in key areas that I think we all care about. It's really great. There's a really good feel around this conference today. It's been hard to pull together. We would love if there was more people here. We would love if there was thousands of people here. You know, we're working towards something and we have to start somewhere. It's been a great movement, the water movement, and this is just a small step along the way, but it could be a significant step.
Okay, and what's happening with community groups at the moment with Right2Water?
Well, the community groups, as you know, Marcus, are very diverse, they're very vibrant, a lot of energy. What we are trying to do is get as many of them involved. We've got community groups from all around Ireland today. I don't think there's a county not represented today, but unfortunately there are hundreds, in fact possibly thousands of community groups, and we can't get them in a conference hall. What we're going to try to do is make the consultation process on these principles that affect them all, affect us all, affect all of our families, as intensive and as inclusive as possible. And when we sit down again on the 13th of June, we will have discussions about the best format to arrive at that process and see can we come up with something that's inclusive. It's very important, as we've always said on the Right2Water, that we start talking to each other about what we agree on. This is a key moment in our history. We can either take this water movement that the communities, that's who done it, that the communities have built up, and turn it into something really meaningful and powerful, or we can do what we've done for 99 years and fall out about it. I hope we do the first thing.
Okay. Derek, what's happening here today?
Well, there's 60 from the grassroots movement, 60 from the unions and 60 from the political sphere, and we're going to come together to try forge a new way forward, because for the last number of years the reason we've gotten nowhere is because the left has been so divided. So we're going to take this country back to the way it should be. So we're going to need a unified left. None of the basic bullshit that's been going on the last number of years. We all have to sing from the same hymn sheet, you know. We're all fighting this one battle. We can't be all fighting it separately, or we're never going to get anywhere as per usual. So we're going to have to unite on one common cause that will unite us all, and basically that common cause is austerity. So if that can't bring us all together, nothing will.
The anti-water charges movement has, I suppose, woken up the citizens in a manner in which never before. I think it's challenged the establishment, and it raises the prospect of people coming together in a way in which we can succeed in making those who make the decisions on our lives accountable, which we don't have now. I think most people would have been really struck by the speaker from Podemos, who could have been talking about Ireland. I mean, it's just incredible. And I think his lessons about, I suppose, the need for those in politics to be humbled and to realise they're not the motive force of change is something that I hope that I realised a while ago, and I'd love to see it mobilised into a force.
Okay. How do you think groups work together?
Pretty good on the ground. I think there's a tendency of some who like to dominate, lead from the top. Old habits die hard with some, but certainly in the areas, I know in ours, we work great together. All parties and none, people who are not involved in anything. There's definitely no one controlling it where we are, but I do see people in other areas at the top trying to, but hopefully that can be put in check.
Well, I'm here for the ordinary citizen, or the extraordinary citizen, as I refer to us as. I feel for too long in this country that we've been lectured to from the pulpit, not only by the church but also by the politicians. And we're here now to put the people's voice forward, and hopefully that the politicians will now follow behind the people, and the people will lead this country the way it should be.
I'm here because I believe this is a start where we all unify. You got the politicos, you got the unions, and you got the people. And they're unifying as part of 180 representing all of Ireland. Not any parties that wish to divide, but everybody from every community, every facet, every social creed. And we want to see change, and we're demanding it of everybody that wishes to stand up. It doesn't matter what party or what individual wishes to push themselves forward or their agendas. We're going to say no, and we're going to stand up, and we're going to fight. And this is the start of the end.
Yeah, so John, why are you here today?
Well, I'm proud to be part of the biggest people's movement in the history of this country. Irish water is the most despised, hated and toxic entity in the history of Ireland. But can I also say it's great to be here and it's great to be at such gatherings as this, but I think that if people don't come out and vote at the next general election, nothing is going to change, and I would encourage everybody to go on to contact their friends, their relations and their families, register them all to vote and get out and consign Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and the Labour Party to the dustbin of history, because the biggest fear that Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael and the so-called Irish Labour Party have is a high voter turnout. And I think if we can get in excess of 90% of our people to come out and vote, then we're going to see some meaningful change. Fine Gael and Fianna Fáil are nothing more than rent boys for corporate greed, and I think it is vitally important that we change the political system in this country.
I'm here to represent the people of Ireland. I have had enough of this austerity and I'm here. It's not for me but for my grandchildren. I feel that this is the last stand.
Well, I'm here to hopefully hear a decent common sense solution to the water problem. I mean, please God, we'll leave here later on and we'll have a solid plan that's been backed up with facts, with logic, and that the experts have gone through with a fine-tooth comb and said, yeah, here's a decent deal for the people of Ireland. And please God, other solutions be brought as well, such as the current crisis in homelessness, where last night you had a pregnant woman with a 1-year-old baby roaming the streets of Ballymun. Families last night being given not even tents, sleeping bags by the corporation and told to head up to local Garda barracks for the night. I mean, please God, something good will come from today where this epidemic of just destitution, of suffering and pain will be finito. Come today, which send us all out packing with a plan, a message, and please God, a solution that will end all this madness.
Now, do you want to say why you're here today?
Aisling O'Neill from Ashburn Against Water Charges. I'm here at the Right2Water conference here today, trying to get like-minded people to come together, joined up thinking, all against austerity, and see can we find a common platform and then go forward for the next elections.
But I suppose this is the beginning of a process about bringing together all of the organisations, the ground community movements, the trade unions, anybody I suppose who believes in anti-austerity and that there is an alternative to the neoliberal agenda, and to bring it together, because I suppose sometimes our problem on the left is that we often are more focused on what we have, our differences, instead of realising that actually we have most stuff in common and we should be focusing on what we have in common and how we achieve the end goal of a fairer society. And I suppose that's what I'm here for today, is to listen to what people are talking about, what options they're putting forward, what alternatives, but also I think that hopefully we can leave this room united as an alternative to the anti-austerity.
I come from Spain. I'm a member of Podemos, a new political party that we launched in January 2014. And I'm here to share some experiences and to learn some lessons as well from the things you are doing here in Ireland.
Okay. Do you think there's many comparisons between Spain and Ireland at the moment with austerity?
Well, you can always draw comparisons. You can always think about, for instance, the anger at austerity, but then again, it's hard to compare countries that are actually so different. But even though comparisons are always hard or difficult, there are always experiences to share. So I think I'm going to learn a lot.
Would you like to say why you're here today?
Curiosity.
Okay. And what did you think of the international speakers?
Very interesting, in particular the last guy. I would have, from what I've heard the leaders of Podemos speaking a few times, and I would be worried that they probably don't have deep enough roots, and so I found it very interesting, the point he was making, that really they were probably short on time, and the idea of starting at grassroots and working their way up was going to be a long process. So the idea of starting at the top and working their way down is pretty novel, and it's something that I think is very interesting, and there seemed to be a lot of I thought there was a lot of substance to his approach. I was impressed with him now, and so he's been the most interesting character of the three for me. I had read about the Berlin water effort before, which is obviously very impressive, But the Podemos guy, I don't think that they're going to hold the balance of power after the next election in Spain, but I think they could have an impact in how we think about how we do politics.
Well, today you're going to see like 60 independent community people, 60 political activists and 60 trade unions come together. I don't know what's going to come out of this, if anything comes out of this. What I do hope, and what I've seen over the last, especially over the last 6 months, but over the last few years, is something new is emerging, and I think it can be a huge force for change, Marcus. You know, I mean, we've all been battered and bruised and beaten, and there's no need for that to continue anymore. So inside here, I mean, the unions are fighting. They're the people who are fighting for the workers. You have the communities who are fighting for each other, for their children and for their grandchildren, and you have a few, not all, political people who are in here who also are on the side of the people of this country and the people of Europe. So hopefully people will be able to put their differences aside, hold hands together and go forward into something an awful lot better for people.
Evelyn, would you like to say what is happening here today?
Well, basically, we're making history. This is the day that we're all coming together to see what we can do to change our world.
We'd like to say what you hope to achieve today?
A plan for moving forward. That's, I think an awful lot of us community pillar feel that we are the weakest link and that actually we need to strengthen, and the only way we can do that is by educating ourselves, informing ourselves and showing that we are here with our voice.
I'm here today to attend the conference of this group Left Party's community activists and unions all together in one room to discuss well, mostly about the water, Right2Water, but also the political and economic occurrences in each of countries from Greece, Germany and Spain. And it's absolutely fantastic to hear their views of what some of the things we're experiencing, some of the things we may in the future experience, but it's kind of given us a lot of, it's educating us, I suppose, into what could be around the corner for us. And basically a lot of the things, the main reason why we're fighting back is the privatisation which is happening globally, and it's kind of brought it to us here today how urgent and vital it is to continue to fight back against this private Irish water as a whole.
Ruth, why are you here today, first of all?
Well, I'm here today as part of the Anti-Austerity Alliance delegation. Obviously, we are interested in what's being put forward today in terms of the way forward for internationally and in the water charges struggle. And I'm hoping that today would be a starting point for some ideas that could then be brought back into campaigns, discussed and debated in real community meetings. For example, I attended a meeting the other night at 300 in Athlone, and where ordinary people who are integrally involved in this campaign would have feedback and things could be amended and discussed. We really do need a political alternative arising from this movement on a very, very broad basis, and I hope that will be something that comes out of today.
We were invited up here today as community activists, people that have been working in their own communities. I've been with Tree Says No, supporting Mayday, and also with Right2Water. So we came up here today to see if there is a better future for this country, and so far today has been very, very promising. We need change in the country. The country's, they're saying it's improving, but we all know that's lies. Dave McWilliams came out there yesterday and said their spring policy was fictional writing. So the news is getting out there. We've got to get the information out to the people. This government, or Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael government, will only bring down the country more. We need change and we need it now.
I was interested to see what Right2Water and the movement that they're going. We'd be a firm belief in Kerry that community united, different ideas and proposals from grassroots communities can create the change that's required in the country and not the democracy that we supposedly have at the moment.
I'm here today because, well, I was invited, but just to see how the water movement was progressing, and I was interested mostly in tactics to have unity, and I haven't been involved too much in the movement before, so I thought I would come here and see the many groups and the speakers from Podemos and Syriza and other places.
What did you think of the international speakers?
I thought they were good. I mean, it's nice because in Europe, something very important happening now, and you can see people from there, and you read about them, and then when they talk, you can see if what you read was right. Yeah, I mean, I think there's agreements and disagreements on what they said, but it's nice to see, as ideas. And the thing that's important is to see how similar the situation is there to Ireland. It's just the same struggles and similar tactics.
So I was involved in leading research into the water movement and trying to get an understanding of why people were protesting, and it got 2,500 water protesters to fill out. They filled out a survey online explaining why they were protesting, and the main findings of that is that for people, they were protesting against austerity. It was not just about the water charges. It was also about what they perceive and see as a corrupt country. They were angry at the way the government, they felt betrayed, the 2011 election promises. They feel let down. They feel that the ordinary people have had to pay the price of the bank bailouts and austerity. They're angry. And what was interesting was that they were very clear that they're going to continue to stop the water charges, to abolish Irish Water. They were very clear that they want a new type of Ireland. Some of them described it as a new republic. They described that a majority wanted a new political party. A majority were moving away from the establishment parties. And a majority were very confident that they were going to win the water movement and what has been called the water war. And I think really for me the main findings from the report and from what people were saying was that this is a real change in Ireland, that the Irish people have actually awoken, in contrast to what a lot of people saw was a passive people who weren't really engaged in politics. There wasn't grassroots movements, that this has really fundamentally changed and people aren't going back into their box, that they've really become animated, empowered, and I think hopefully we'll see that continue.